City. This is Good Day Philadelphia.
But not if you send your kids to a cooler climate, maybe up into the glacier.
Into the mountains somewhere?
Well, up to Montana, maybe to Yellowstone for a summer camp.
You know, I have to say, I'm actually surprised at the number of kids and the number of parents who send their kids, young ones, 7, 6, 7, 8 years old, to far camps overnight for weeks at a time.
Oh, for maybe 2 months at a time?
Yeah.
Put them on an airplane at 6 and 7, Jan. Have you ever heard about that?
I have heard about it. It's interesting because the people in Delaware County don't know that the people in Montgomery County are doing it. Rob Heller, I mean, I talked about this in the newsroom this morning, one day, and it happens this Saturday. You go to the airport, all the Southwest terminals, it's all little kids, 7 years old, going away, not just for 1 week, Rob Heller. They're going away for 2 months. I know that you work with BoostKids, a great organization that tries to instill confidence. But aren't these moms just shipping these kids away? Can it be good for these kids?
Absolutely. It can be fantastic for the kids. For the kids to get away for that period of time, to be in a bunk environment with those kids, to learn how to deal with people and be away from home, it's a great learning experience.
All right, so some kids are like the natural comedian. They're like, hey, how you doing? Give me some sippy cup of milk. But other kids are kind of more introspective. How do you get your kid ready if they are one of those more quiet kids to go into an environment? They don't know the counselors. They're getting on a plane. They're 7 years old. How do you get those kinds of kids ready?
Well, within BoostKids, what's interesting is there are specific techniques that parents can use to teach their kids to develop their people skills, because that's really important in a bunk environment. So just learning how to listen and ask questions, respecting other people, smiling, just little techniques that kids can learn to develop to feel much more comfortable in a bunk environment, being away from home.
It's Thursday morning. A lot of people are already packed. So this is kind of when the kids get a little bit nervous. They probably have started talking about being homesick. Moms, I'm sure, if they're sending their kids away for the first time, are anxious. How do you prepare the kids to get on the plane on Saturday morning?
Well, first the thing would be for the parent to stay calm, because if they see you anxious and upset, the kid will be upset. So just stay calm and make sure to just remind the kid that there's all new experiences, but they're going to have a great time, and that you'll be there and that it will be over quickly.
One of my friends who sends her kids to camp, she says what she does is she tells the kid, it isn't mom's cooking, it's great food, but it's not going to be the same as home. I think when you're 7, you're 8 years old, you're used to a routine. Going to grandma's house is a big deal, but they're related. They make the same food. How do you prepare them and let them know that it's not going to be like home?
Again, just reminding them that this is a different experience, that they're going to learn from this. And once they get there and they're in that environment with the kids and playing sports and having a great time, they really do forget about it, and most of them do fantastic.
You have older children, but you do have a wife, and you have 3 kids who have gone to camp. I think it's more of a mom phenomenon to be like, oh my God, I can't. I mean, I'm worried because my little guy goes until 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. I don't see him for lunch. Is it harder on the moms than it is for the kids?
Absolutely. I remember my wife, the first time we sent each of our kids to camp, it was very difficult, very emotional. But again, once they get there and you start getting the letters about what a great time they're having, you realize what a great experience it is for everyone.
Do they have to go for 8 weeks?
Absolutely not. There's certain camps that you can do for 2 weeks, 4 weeks. It's a great way to start. When they're 7, 8 years old, maybe start them on that basis and then gradually expand.
Okay, so I know that you're all about self-esteem and the rest of it, but I can remember one of my girlfriends sent her kid to camp. He came back, he hadn't washed his hair or taken a shower for 3 weeks. Are those some of the other things that parents should be telling their kid, like brush your teeth, take a shower, even if the scuzzy kid next to you doesn't? I mean, I'm being funny, but really there's some grooming things that you have to remind the kids about as well.
Absolutely. The good thing is that most camps stay on top of that. Before kids can eat, they have to shower and do those kinds of things. They do a pretty good job. And what's interesting, once the kids get home, many times they're much more mature, and they'll pick up, I know my kids actually pick up their plates and take it to the sink and do little things that they didn't do before. So it really can allow them to grow up.
Do they say please and thank you too?
Usually it only lasts about a week.
All right, thank you so much for your help this morning. I appreciate it. So again, it's crazy if you've never seen it. Mike and Chanel, my neighborhood in Montgomery County will be a ghost town. So it's really sad for the kids that don't go away to camp. And we were talking about that a little bit off camera as well. But I can tell you this, Saturday night, after all these kids are on a plane to Vermont, New Hampshire, and out in Lake Nakamixon in Berks County, there are keg parties with parents because they're free for the rest of the summer.
For months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Parenting
as
has
I'm
changed over
walking
the century.
the kids in the stroller.
Thank you, Jen.